Good day, everyone. We are the Group 4, and the members are Mariel Derriquito, Jacqueline Duero, Rachel Fernandez, Nasha G. Said, Joshua Hernandez, and Julian Kilaiko. The contents of our report are intrusion detection and prevention, monitoring methodologies, types of ID, intrusion prevention systems, unified threat management, security through network technologies, network address translation, and network access control. So my topic is about intrusion detection and prevention. An intrusion detection system, or IDS, is a device that detects an attack as it occurs. IDS systems can use different methodologies for monitoring for attacks. In addition, IDS can be installed on either local hosts or networks. An extension of IDS is an intrusion prevention system. So, ang IDS ay isang tool or device na minomonitor yung flow ng network and kung may malicious activities pa na nagaganap sa isang network. So, nag-work yung intrusion detection system kapag meron siyang na-detect or na-identify as intruder or merong malicious activity na ginagawa sa network. So, ang mangyayari, pag may na-detect siya, nagsisend siya ng alert sa system, administrator or security team para ma-actionan kaagad. So, ang IDS is one of the important device na pwedeng gamitin in securing your network because it maintains the security and integrity of computer and network systems. So, IDS can detect attack as it occurs, like what I've said earlier. IDS systems use different methodologies for monitoring for attacks, and that will be discussed by the next reporter. Next, it can be installed on either local hosts or networks. And last, an extension of IDS is an intrusion prevention system or IPS. So, yung IPS is parang upgraded version ng IDS. Kasi yung IDS, tools are restricted for detecting threats and monitoring data flow of the network. While sa IPS naman, it can detect and prevent malicious activities in the network. So IDS is to detect and monitor, while IPS is to detect and take an action to prevent threats.
Okay, monitoring methodologies. Monitoring works examining network traffic, activity, transaction, and behavior in order to detect security-related anomalies. These are for monitoring methodology, anomaly monitoring, signature-based monitoring, behavior-based monitoring, and here's the require. So we have a four kinds of monitoring. So there is anomaly-based monitoring, signature-based monitoring, behavior-based monitoring, heuristic monitoring. Anomaly-based monitoring is compare to detect behavior with the base plan. So, when you said compare, kinukumpara. Signature-based monitor looks for where no attack signature patterns. Behavior-based monitoring detect abnormal action by process or program alert user who decided whether to allow or block activity. Here's the user experience-based technique. Nila. So, behavior-based, ito yung parang di maganda. So, you can decide if you want to block it or not. Tapos yung story monitoring, parang other method for the user experience. Um, then, signature-based monitoring looks for well-known attack signature pattern. Okay, that's all.
Next is the types of ID. Two basic types of IDs exist: a host-based intrusion detection system, or HIDS, is a software-based application that runs on a local host computer that can detect an attack as it occurs. A HIDS is installed on each system, such as a server or desktop, that needs to be protected. A HIDS relies on agents installed directly on the system being protected. These agents work closely with the operating system, monitoring and intercepting requests in order to prevent attacks. HIDs typically monitor the following desktop functions. So, meron po tayong two types of ID. Una po ay yung HIDS or Host-Based Intrusion Detection System at NIDS o Network-Based Intrusion Detection System. Kapag sinabi nating HIDS, isa siyang security software na gumagana sa local host computer like sa computer ko. Bali, objective nito na makita yung potential na attacks habang nangyayari ito direkto sa host system kung saan ito nakalagay na need ng protection. In addition, once na merong HIDS, nagre-rely ito sa special software component na agent na nakalagay sa OS ng host. And ito yung nagmo-monitor at nag-i-intercept sa mga activities like system calls at iba pa po na mababanggit ko dito. So, una na nga po dito ay yung system calls. Each operation in a computer environment starts with a system call. A system call is an instruction that interrupts the program being executed and requests a service from the operating system. HIDS can monitor system calls based on the process mode and action being requested. Excuse me. Bali yung HIDS, minomonitor niya yung mga system calls para ma-ensure na ito ay galing sa legitimate process at hindi galing sa potential threats na makakasama po para sa host system. Next is file system access. System calls usually require specific files to be opened in order to access data. HIDS works to ensure that all file openings are based on legitimate needs and are not the result of malicious activity. Bali, titiyakin po ng HIDS na yung mga file na ina-access or binubuksan ng mga system call ay based sa need ng system and hindi po para sa potential threats. And sa tulong ng pagmamonitor ng file system access, may iwasan natin yung mga data exfiltration saka file tampering. Next ay host input/output. HIDS monitors all input and output communication to watch for malicious activity. For example, if the system never uses instant messaging and suddenly a threat attempts to open an IM connection from the system, the HIDS will detect this as anomalous activity. Bali, si HIDS ay nagmo-monitor sa lahat ng input at output na communication ng host system para ma-identify nito yung mga anumang potential sa banta sa security. And sa tulong po ng pag-monitor ng kakaiba activity sa system tulad ng unexpected na pag-open ng instant messaging connection, ito po ay nagpapalakas ng kakayahan ng sistema na ma-detect ang mga potential threat. And i-consider niya na yun as anomalous activity. So, next is, however, there are disadvantages to HIDs, including, first, it cannot monitor any network traffic that does not reach the local system. Second, all log data is stored locally. And third, it tends to be resource-intensive and can slow down the system. And despite of that, meron nga pong mga disadvantage itong HID. Una po ay yung hindi niya kayang bantayan ng lahat ng mga network traffic na hindi dumadaan sa local network na hindi dumadaan sa local system dahil nga po yung HID ay host-based and limitado lang siya doon. Limitado lang siya doon for its objective kasi po yung network traffic na pagsubaybay ay hindi na po sakop na kanyang layunin. Next is yung log data po na ay nakastore sa local system. Dahil sa design ng HID na again nga ay host-based, pwede din kasi itong maging kahinaan. Kasi yung log data po ay hindi pwede na maging accessible sa mga tao sa labas ng host system. Kasi maaari po yung mawala kapag merong nangyari nga na na-access and pwede maging way para ma-attack yung system. Next is resource intensive at pwedeng magpabagal sa system kasi nga yung paggamit ng memory at CPU cycle na kailangan para mag-operate ng HID ay masyadong malaki and nakakaapekto siya mismo sa system na. Last is the network intrusion detection system. Just as a software-based HID monitors attacks on a local system, NID watches for attacks on the network. As network traffic moves through the network, NID sensor usually installed on network devices such as firewall and routers gather information and report back to a central device. A NID may use one or more of the evaluation technique listed here. Excuse me. Sa pag-NID naman po, nagbabantay siya ng mga attack sa network. And habang nagta-travel ang network traffic sa buong network, yung sensor ng NIDs karaniwang pong nakalagay sa mga network device tulad ng firewall and router ay nagko-collect ng information at nagre-report sa isang central na aparato. Bali, meron siyang iba't ibang paraan. Ito nga po. Una ay yung protocol stack verification. Some attacks use invalid IP, TCP, UDP, or ICMP protocols. A protocol stack verification can identify and flag invalid packets such as several fragmented IP packets. So, meron nga pong mga attack na gumagamit ng hindi tamang IP, TCP, UDP, or ICMP protocols. And para ma-identify ito, ginagamit ng NIDS ang pag-verify ng protocol stack. Halimbawa po, merong isang attacker na nagpadala ng ilang fragmented IP packets, bali maaaring makilala to ng NIDS at magpatupad ng tamang hakbang para hindi ito maging threat sa network. Next is yung pag-verify ng application protocol. Bali, pwedeng gamitin yung hindi wasto or hindi tamang behavior ng protocol o magpakita ng palatandaan. Halimbawa po ay yung DNS poisoning. Ngayon, yung NIDS, mag-i-implement siya ng iba't ibang application protocol para ma-identify yung mga ganitong anomalies. And sa pamamagitan ng pag-check ng behavior ng protocol, nakikita nito ang mga pagkakaiba mula sa inaasahang pattern. Next is yung creating extending logs. Bali, naglalagay ang NIDS ng mga hindi karaniwang kaganapan sa mga logs at ginagawa niyang available ang mga to sa iba pang network monitoring system. So, yung mga extended logs na to, nagbibigay siya ng mahalagang information para mas detailed yung pag-check at pagtugon dun sa incident na yun.
Intrusion Prevention Systems or IPSS. As its name implies, an intrusion prevention system not only monitors to detect malicious activities like an IDS but also attempts to prevent them by stopping the attack. A network intrusion prevention system or NIPS is similar to a NIDS in that it monitors network traffic to immediately react to block a malicious attack. One of the major differences between a NIDS and a NIPS is its location. A NIDS has sensors that monitor the traffic entering and leaving a firewall and reports back to the central device for analysis. A NIPS, on the other hand, would be located in line on the firewall itself. It can allow the NIPS to more quickly take action to block an attack. So it monitors network traffic to immediately block a malicious attack. It is similar to NIDS. NIPS is located in line on the firewall. It allows the NIPS to more quickly take action as to block the attack of an application aware IPS. It knows which applications are running as well as the underlying OS.
Next is Unified Threat Management or UTM. Security appliances because different types of network security hardware, firewalls, internet content filter, web security, gateway, and etc. Each provide a different defense. A network may require multiple devices for comprehensive protection. This can make it cumbersome to manage all of devices. And an alternative is an integrated device that combines several security functions called as UTP, UTM. A security product such multiple purpose security appliance provide an array of security functions such as anti-spam, anti-phishing, antivirus, and anti-spyware, bandwidth optimization, and content filtering. And next is encryption, firewall, instant messaging control, and web filtering, intrusion protection. First is anti-spam, anti-phishing, antivirus, and anti-spyware. Anti-spam, anti-phishing, antivirus, and anti-spyware. Those feature work together to protect against various types of malicious software and software activity. Anti-spam filter incoming emails or un- to block or to block unwanted message. Anti-phishing detect and blocks attempts to trick user into revealing sensitive information such as password or financial details. Antivirus is scan files and program for known malware and removes any threats detected. Anti-spyware detect and removes spyware which in software that secretly collect user information without their consent. Next is bandwidth optimization. Bandwidth optimization helps to manage network traffic efficiency, uh, ensuring that critical applications have bandwidth while non-essential traffic is prioritized or limited. This can involve techniques such as traffic shopping, compression, caching, and quality of service or QoS control to improve network performance and minimize congestion. Next is uh, content filtering. Content filtering content filtering allows administration to control access to website and online content based on policy. It can block access to specific category of website such as gambling and adult content. Individual website know to post security risks. Filtering helps enforce acceptable use policy, comply with regulation, and protection user from exposure to harmful content. Next is encryption. Encryption convert data into a secure format that can only access with the appropriate decryption key or key. It protects sensitive information during transmission over the internet and storage on this or in the database from unauthorized access or interpretation, encryption is essential for maintaining data confidentiality and privacy, especially for sensitive or regulated data. Next is firewall. Firewall is a network device or software that monitor, control incoming and outgoing traffic based on security rules. It's act as a barrier between trusted internal network and untrusted external network. Filtering traffic to prevent unauthorized access and malicious activity. Firewall can be implemented at the network level, hardware, a hardware firewall, or an individual device. Software firewall. Next is instead messaging control and web filtering. Those fu- uh, those future future are allowed administrator to manage and monitor the user of instant messaging service and control access to the website. Instead messaging control enable organization to enforce policy regarding the user of messaging platform, monitor conversation for compliance or security purposes, and prevent the transmission of sensitive information. Web filtering restrict access to specific website or category to mitigate security risk and productivity concern. Thus is institution protection. Monitor monitor network traffic for sign of suspicious or malicious activity and take action to block or prevent malicious attack. Can detect and response to various threats including unauthorized access, attempt malware, infection, by continually monitoring and analyzing network traffic. IPS helps to detect and mitigate security breach in the real time.
The last topic on this lesson is security through network technologies. So we have two types of security through network technology. The first one is network address translation or DNAT, and the second one is the network access control. But let's talk about first what is network address translation. So it is a technique that allows private IP addresses to be used on the public internet. Private IP addresses, which are listed in the table 7 to 6, are IP addresses that are not assigned to any specific user or organization. Instead, they can be used by anyone on the private internal network. Private addresses function as irregular IP addresses on an internal network. However, if a packet with a private address makes its way to the internet, the routers drop that packet. So, ang NAT ay isang technique kung saan inaalaw ang isang private IP address para magamit sa isang public internet. Ang mga private IP address na nakalist sa table sa kabilang slide ay ang mga IP address na hindi naka-assign sa kahit na anong specific user or organization. Instead, ito ay pwede silang gamitin ng kahit na sino sa isang private internal network. Ang mga private IP addresses ay nagpo-function kagaya rin ng mga regular na IP addresses sa isang internal network. Pero kapag ang isang packet na may private address ay gumawa ng waste sa internet, i-drop ng router ang packet na iyon. So NAT replaces a private IP address with a public address. As a packet leaves a network, NAT removes the private IP addresses from the sender's packet and replaces it with an alias IP public address. As shown in figure 7 to 9, the NAT software maintains a table of the private IP addresses and alias public IP addresses. When a packet is returned to NAT, the process is reversed.
A variation of NAT is port address translation or PAT. Instead of giving each outgoing packet a different IP address, each packet is given the same IP address but a different TCP port number. So this allows a single public IP addresses to be used by several users. So nire-replace ng NAT ang mga private IP addresses ng public addresses. So as packet leaves network, nire-remove ng NAT yung private IP addresses. Ang NAT software ang nagme-maintain sa table ng private IP address and nagbibigay ng alias na public addresses. Kapag ang packet ay ni-return sa NAT, ang process ay mare-reverse. Ang variation ng NAT ay tinatawag na PAT or Port Address Translation. Dito, instead na bigyan ang bawat outgoing packet ng different IP address, ang each packet ay binibigyan ng same IP addresses pero may different TCP port number. Ito ay nag-aalaw sa mga single public IP addresses na magamit ng mga several users. Next is network access control. So this is the logic behind network access control. NAC examines current state of a system or network device before it is allowed to connect to the network. Any device that does not meet a specified set of criteria, such as having the most current antivirus signature or the software firewall properly enabled, it is allowed to connect only to a quarantine network where the security deficiencies are corrected. After the problems are solved, the device is connected to the normal network. The goal of NAC is to prevent computers with suboptimal security from potentially infecting other computers through the network. So, ang network access control ay ina-examine ang current state ng isang system or ng network device. Before ito ma-allowed na makakonect sa isang network, ang lahat ng device na hindi mamimit ang specified set ng criteria ay allowed lamang na kumonect sa quarantine network kung saan ang security deficiencies ay connected sa isang normal network. Ang goal ng NAC ay may-prevent ang computers na may suboptimal security sa potential nitong maka-infect ng ibang computer through network. So, an example of NAC process is illustrated in figure 7 to 10 using the Microsoft Network Access. First one is the assessment, known as a statement of health, is sent to a server called the Health Registration Authority or HRA. This server enforces the security policies of the network. It is also integrates with other external authorities such as antivirus and patch management servers in order to retrieve current configuration information. If the client is approved by the HRA, it is issued by a health certificate. The health certificate is then presented to the network servers to verify that the client security conditions has been approved. If the client is not approved, it is connected to a quarantine network where the deficiencies are corrected and then the computer is allowed to connect to the network. So NIC typically uses one of the two methods for directing the client to a quarantine network and then later to a production network. The first method is the use of a dynamic host configuration protocol or DHCP server. So the unapproved client is first lease an IP addresses to the quarantine network and then later lease an IP address to the production network. The second method actually uses a technique often used by attackers known as Address Resolution Protocol or the ARP poisoning. With this method, the ARP table is manipulated on the client so that it connects to the quarantine network. NAC can be an effective tool for identifying and correcting systems that do not have adequate security installed and preventing these devices from infecting others. So, ang NAC daw is usually gumagamit ng isa sa dalawang methods in directing the client to a quarantine network and then later on sa production network. Ang first method is na ginagamit is yung DHCP server or the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Yung mga unapproved client daw is first nililist muna ng IP address sa quarantine network and then later naman is sa production network. Ang second method naman na ginagamit or ang technique na ginagamit is usually ginagamit ng mga attackers. Ito ay kilala sa tawag na Address Resolution Protocol or yung ARP poisoning. So, sa method na to, ang ARP table is minamanipulate niya yung mga client para makakonect ito sa quarantine network. So, ang NIC daw ay isang effective tool sa pag-identify and pag-correct ng mga systems na walang adequate securities na naka-install and pine-prevent nito yung mga devices na maka-infect ng other devices na connected sa isang network. And that's all for this lesson. Thanks for watching.